Hello. So, the stream should be going live here any second. This is a really fucking weird one. I'm not gonna lie. Hi there. So, what's going on? What am I doing? Why the fuck am I streaming? Notification that I am streaming. So other than YouTube, there are a few other different projects I do in my free time. One of which are, well, these guys that I've been working on. You may have noticed him usually is up there. There's another one behind me. And I think my orange one's over there on my bed. Hi. So pretty much I'm working on these, working on a new pattern for these. And I thought, hey, why the hell not? I'm sitting here for a long period of time, why not stream it? See what happens. So. Hi, Brick White Tea. Hi, Skadoodle. And Javon? Hi, Javon. So right now I'm working on the bottom jaw. So as you can see, it's made of multiple segments of paper, which will eventually become the patterns for the cloth. And right now I just have to fill in this bottom jaw here, and then figure out how I want to do this back plate for the back of the head. Because after that, the body's pretty easy. It's just a tube. I'm not sure if it's... Is it a YouTube thing, or is it... I don't know if it's a YouTube thing, or if it's something on my end. I hope it's not something on my end. Okay. So in this case, because I'm trying to do, like I said, the bottom jaw for this, attempt number 1, failure. Attempt number 2, improvement, but I didn't leave myself enough room for modification. Charlie Robinette. Hi, Charlie. So now that I'm making this third one, that gives me that room for improvement, because I need to also have it curve back, come up here, and then curve back down this part to this one. You can see that one a little bit easier. So how's everyone doing? I'm not sure which is more boring. Me cutting and taping paper, or me sitting on a calculator shooting mortars. Which is what I was doing last stream. I was playing squad. So essentially what I'm doing is making quite literally a 3D model out of paper. So that way I can translate the paper into the patterns, which... One second. This is actually the lower jaw pattern for this version. But I'm trying to make improvements and changes, so that's why this one's going away. And I'm not reusing that pattern to design this one simply because I don't want to make the same mistakes that one did, so I'm starting completely from scratch. Did I do that off center? it doesn't seem to get it. Okay. Right now, I'm just kind of focusing on one side, and then I'll do the other. Because once I get one side done, it's okay. These, they're quite literally just stuffed animals. It's for something I'm working on with someone else that isn't fully official, so to say. Okay, so there we go. Lego building stream win. I've actually considered doing that. But at the same time, I don't really want to spend like $100 and something on a nice big set. I could do like tiny sets. Not sure if there'd be much spectacle there. I've got 8 people watching me cut paper. Okay. I do find that mildly ironic. I'm not mad that I'm getting 8 people, but it's just kind of mildly ironic. Yeah, I know, break. Good Lego sets cost good money. I could go with the like Chinese knockoffs, but I'm remembering a video I was watching. An artist that I like some of the stuff she does, decided to do like a Lego building video, and then after ordering the Lego, she realized she bought a fucking Chinese knockoff. Okay, so that I did start a Scrap Mechanic Survival series, and I ended a Scrap Mechanic Survival series because the game kept breaking. Like a project I had spent like multiple episodes working on, just fucking dead. Like because of a game break, because of a glitch. And at that point, I kind of just walked away from survival completely. And the stream is buffering. Why is the stream buffering? So, I am in a bit of a pickle. I need to get fucking pictures of this model that I'm working with. And the question is, do I hop into VR to do it? Fuck it. You're sitting here watching me cut paper, so I'm gonna hop into VR and look at this model. I might try and get it up on the screen. It's gonna bitch at me because I'm not in my play space, damn it. Lego Technic. I would really love to, but those sets are not like Lego sets. $1,600. Fucking Technic. Holy shit. How the hell am I gonna do this? Let's see. Streaming webcam. Hi there. I don't think I have VR chat on this one. I am round, not small. Wait, here, I'll stand up. Happy? Okay, so I do have VR chat as a thing I can do. Hi. Okay, I think it should be ready. Let's hop into VR. I'll turn my headphones. Can't have that and my. Also think my controller. Is it my left one? Okay, I'm gonna just assume my right. I'm glad you guys can. I think you guys can still hear me when I'm walking around the room because I love that mic, by the way. Okay. This is going perfectly to plan. Can't get VR chat open. Ah, shit. Why can I not get it open? I did something. Have you seen my Dave or Davey? No, I've not seen your Davey. Let's try this again. This doesn't work. I guess I'll just have to like go by whatever the fuck I can figure out. Let's not stream my passwords to everyone, so give me a second. I'm going to make it so you cannot see VR chat. Because that would be kind of really dumb to put in my password in front of everyone. Done it before. guess it's... Don't worry about anyone's coming out. Go. Excuse me, what? So, there you go. Now you can see what I see. Oh, I remember one. Hey, now we're here. This is what I'm talking. Oh, what's wrong? That's all I really had to get. I apologize for the flashing screen. We're back. Huh. Someone says I should play with Khan. It's not exactly that easy of an option, to be completely honest. Like, I've talked to him, we've bounced ideas back and forth, but it's never really come up in conversation that we do a full-blown collaboration or anything. He kind of has his group that he runs with, and I usually don't do multiplayer stuff. I guess I do the tanks. But I don't rely on multiplayer nowhere near as heavily as he does. So, actually, a Jeep Gladiator. I'm working on a similar project. I could probably retool it rather easily. Or just call it a Gladiator, even though it doesn't look exactly like it. Okay. Why does double wishbone suspension launch you across the map? It has to do with the suspension glitch in the spring. Add more bearings. So double wishbone is one of those things that's kind of cool, just to look at it functionality wise, like watch it move and stuff, it's not really the best suspension in the game just because it's complex and it adds a lot of glitches essentially. They can be avoided, it's just a pain. Okay. Have a nice day, night. Hi. R3T20. People have been like annoying Khan about collabing with me, and while I appreciate the like idea, I'd rather not be a nuisance to him. Like, I don't get along with everything he does or agree with everything he does, but, and saying that makes me sound like I don't like him. It's just, you know. The only thing I don't fully agree with is, I've said this before, is he very much turned his content very child friendly, which I understand that. I understand it from like why someone would do that. It's just not my cup of tea, so to say. The more I say, I think the worse I'm hurting myself if I ever do want to do a collab with him. I'm just gonna stop. Okay. Don't have to take the tape off to do what I'm about to do. Here's the thing, like, with the content he makes, he's an amazing, like, mechanic from, like, some of the technological builds, some of the logic stuff he's built. And I think while he has increased his viewership, I think it's come at the expense of what I enjoyed about him, which was his technology, like the stuff he built, the stuff he experimented with. And I always joke about the whole, it's a car, but with engines for wheels, like that kind of. Or it's a car, but no seats. And I know I've done some stuff like that, but it's just. I forgot to do it on both sides. Damn it! I've got to transfer another modification to this over to the other side because I forgot I didn't make these completely symmetrical. Yeah, I think that's kind of it. I really miss his older content. I'm gonna laugh so fucking hard if he gets on here. He's dropped by streams before, so it would just be. He suggested to make an anti-mine on the front of your tank on... I don't think it was him. Play with Durf. Durf very much does... Last I checked, he does a lot of modded content. I'm not a modded person. And to say that I don't really watch Con, I do take some inspiration from him. Like, there was a recent video he did, it was like the one wheel or whatever challenge. I looked at that and went, I want to make a drift car. Because I saw he was using the drills for the rear. And I'm like, that's built to drift. I wonder if there's a more like tactful and aesthetically pleasing way to present that. You just fucking message me. Someone has messaged me on Discord. Oh, I know what you're talking about. I can't remember if that was something I was messing with and he showed up, or if that's something he straight up suggested. Because now I remember him like joining that stream. What happened with Alstrak? I don't know. He just kind of stopped making content that I'm not saying he stopped making content. It could all be that I just wasn't paying attention. Alstrak is like, he's a really good mechanical builder, but his mentality and my mentality with mechanics are different. Mine's more make it functional, but functional. His is make it functional, but as realistic as fucking possible. Which, with scrap mechanics logic and scrap mechanics physics, doesn't always work out. Play with Moonbow. I've never interacted with Moonbow. I don't really know where to start with that one. Alright, what's this? I'm just gonna respond, I'm in the middle of streaming. Okay. Not quite sure I like that. Did I bring it in further? Or do I want it wider? I want to bring it in slightly. What about SM? SM? Are you talking about SML? Oh, Scrapman. Probably not Scrapman. Someone... Any plans to make another piston crawler? Maybe? I did experiment with an 8x8. that was an absolute disaster. That went nowhere fast. It was just a limitation of the game. The basically frame rate hit 0 way too quickly. Me and Brent have done a little bit together. So that one's not completely off kilter, so to say. That's not completely out of the ordinary, or out of possibility, so to say. What I was saying about the piston crawlers, I was planning to do an 8x8, but the frame rate went too low too fast and just was completely out of reason. With the 6x6, pretty much the only thing I could really do, yeah, I could probably improve it, make it a little bit better. But the biggest issue with that is I'd have to redo the engine. Not hard, but I don't have the biggest reason to. Like, from a functionality standpoint, the 6x6 works. I can make it better, I can make it again. But there's no particular improvements that I could see that are necessary. And part of the reason I did the 6x6 was just an extreme, because I had the 4x4, and the 4x4 worked, and I was happy with it. I just wanted to go above and beyond and do a 6x6, and that's also why I wanted to do the 8x8. But like I just said, the 8x8 just didn't work. So that's the good one. It's just slightly smaller than what I want it to be. Play with David Vegeta. I don't know who that is. Some of these people you're suggesting I play with, I either don't know, or I think they're out of my league. One of the things that's kind of a bit of a doctrine for me and how I like to do my channel is I don't... Yeah, pattern of asking me to play with people. The reason I don't like to do a lot of community creations, like I've done a few, that's solely because people have asked me to do them. I don't like the idea of using other people's content, their builds, to further my channel. And I know some people really like having their creations shown off, but for me that's... I consider it kind of distasteful, is I guess a word I would use for that. And in saying so, I even watched a few YouTubers who do similar stuff. Like they hunt... I was about to say they hunt the workshop. I was not going that direction with that, and initially, but I guess it's true still. I was actually thinking more like Dragast when he used to do a lot of his Besiege workshop content, like videos. No, I've not seen Brent's piston engine. That's another thing that, like, me and Alstrak didn't get along with, was the whole, like, his engines had to be the best. Mine's like, as long as it's powerful enough to move the car, Like, he would go for 1,000 RPM, like, such and such horsepower, and it's like, you know you're pushing, like, this little 10-pound car, and you're making a 300-something horsepower engine. Why? Hey man, who has a great time to get the most part of a sudden death on a day of work to be the best way for me? Best way. I don't know what Skadoodle just said. I have a sneaking suspicion he accidentally hit the, like, what is it, the text-to-speech or speech-to-text? It just caught a conversation. Have you ever done that? Just like accidentally hit text to speech and then just what ends up, or speak to text, sorry, other way around. And what comes up is just nonsense. Like, you know you didn't say half of those words that it's typing. Okay, that's significantly better. Those are... Pile there is just filled stuff. I got a bunch of, like, scrap material. Or scrap paper. I might be able to use for something, but I'm gonna clean up. I've spent 38 minutes cutting that single fucking piece of paper. I just want to point that out. There's a big piece of paper scrap. I'm going to use this. Okay, what am I making? I am working on a sewing pattern for another one of these guys. You notice, if you noticed these before, this guy is usually up there. There's one in the background. There's an orange one, which is over that way. They're little drakes. They're little stuffed animals. They're little creatures, I guess you can call them. Play with their... I am making the sewing patterns for new ones for the next version. Because while I enjoy that one, actually, that's the best one. This is the newest one, but I really fucked up the face on it. So, no, not really merch. It's actually really hard to fucking explain what I'm doing without causing trouble. Essentially, so you all saw the avatar that's in VR chat, or maybe not all of you, because not everyone here was here at the time, but the avatar that I hopped into VR chat and looked at, that is what this is based off of. That avatar is what I use the majority of the time I'm in VR, or VR chat more specifically. So, long story short, I absolutely love the character design for that, and just the creature itself is cool. And I decided that I wanted one. I wanted to make myself a version of a stuffed animal. Because I can. because I know how to sew. It's like, yeah, it'd take me a bit, but I could do it. So with that mentality in mind, no, I'm not going to make a tutorial on that for a few reasons. One of which is, well, I don't want the devs to try and fix it. That's the big one. Well, I decided I want one, so I made one. Some of my friends who play VR chat with me found out, and they wanted one, which is why this one is green. This one actually belongs to a friend of mine. I made it, told it I'd send it to them, never got around to it. Well, I said send it to them when I was done using it for purposes, because, well, right now it's kind of the show model of what I'm working on, because it's the best one. Even though this one's newer, I just threw an 8-track tape. Even though this one is newer, it's shitty and it doesn't have all the details, because I built this one as a finished version with all the, like, details, the toe beams, it's got the paws. Well, when some of my friends that play VR chat found out they wanted one, and people started asking for them. Okay, I can make 2 or 3 for some of my friends. I was planning on making 2 anyway, because I have the orange one which is over there, which is the prototype, and this one was supposed to be mine. Like I said, friend asked for it, so I made it in their colors instead. So more people started finding out that I was working on this little project, and they were asking for them. People I didn't know, strangers, and people started offering money. Decent amounts of money. So I contacted the artist who made the model, who's the owner of this design. And I told him, hey, I'm doing this little thing where I kind of turned your model into a stuffed animal. And some of my friends want some. And he's like, okay, that's fine. Well, hey, I have a lot of people trying to buy these off me. He's like, oh, really? So it's not an official thing yet, but basically I am developing a stuffed animal for what is essentially a product. And the reason I'm like hesitant to really call it that is because it is in such an early stage that we don't want to make promises we can't keep. So to like say these are for sale, they're not for sale. They're not. They may never be for sale. But I'm having fun making them. People are interested in them. And so I'm making them. I want to make them. And I guess there is admittedly a financial incentive, but take that as you will. Ah, damn it. Usually it's I don't know how well that mic picked that up. Probably blasted someone's fucking ear out. It is midnight. Well, almost midnight. It's 11:45. That's the sound it makes, by the way. Um, and people, if you saw the avatar in VR chat, it's a hand puppet, so it's not actually attached to the hand. It's more here on the wrist. And as you move the wrist, it moves the head, and you can do a lot with it. And it's really fun to use, and people absolutely fucking love it. Like playing that avatar in game is a lot of fun, just because of how much people love being around it, how much they love interacting with it. There's kind of a running joke in VR chat that everyone just either stands in a circle and talks, or they sit at a mirror and talk. Just very common. But bring that around a group and everyone loses their shit, and it's so much fun. I'm actually working on a quote-unquote wholesome VR chat video, which is just me going around as this thing and getting reactions out of people. Yeah, I'm aware of what enlisted is. I prefer squad. I'm trying to reuse the scraps of paper that I have lying around. VR chat is free, by the way, Skadoodle. You don't have to have VR either. You can just... There's a cobweb on my camera. What the fuck? So VR chat's free. You don't have to use VR. You can play it in desktop mode. You may be called a crippled as a result, but it's a thing people can do. Now, as for powerful PC, it's very much appreciated with VR chat. So it's not necessary so long as you have like your settings low enough, I would say, but it's very much encouraged. It's not a case of you can't play the game if you don't have high specs. It's a case of you will probably crash on a regular basis because some idiot decided he was going to deploy a fucking nuke that causes even my computer to chug at 3 frames. And I've joked before about my computer being a joked about my computer being compensation, because it is the stroker, as my community has named it. Now, I would not, if you are interested in VR chat, I would not recommend going the option of a Quest, because if you play VR chat with a Quest, yes, you're playing in VR, but you can't fucking see anyone. Like, it turns everyone's avatars off. I think in my entire arsenal of avatars, I have one avatar that is Quest compatible, which means that the Quest can see it. Boston Plays is exactly true. Being a YouTuber gave me an excuse to upgrade my PC. So this... Water and Creative without mods is not a thing yet, because the devs have not made it a thing yet. Okay, so my first computer, my first computer that I did YouTube stuff on, by the way, that's just a thing of Sharpies, was one of these. Not this one specifically, this is a newer, better one, which is a server, a giant hunk of metal that's like that thick. It is really fucking dirty. Fun fact, the processors in this will keep up with my new PC, my expensive one. This was like $200. I'm not, like, it's stupid. Old servers have really good processor in them, but they're old. There's no upgradability to the processors, usually. So, it'll keep up with this, but it's technically out of date. And that's what I started my channel on, was an older version of this, which had worse specs, worse cooling, things like that. And I just took a 1050 Ti and routed the cables out the back of the case, because there's no room in this case for a graphics card. So there's a slot to put it in. I just took an extension, plugged in the slot, and just ran it out the case, and that's how I fucking made videos starting out, was a jerry-rigged PC. And for the specs that I got, it's really, really good priced. And if you know what you're doing, it's not too difficult to get a decent spec PC. Now, the problem with that is oftentimes you have to sacrifice upgradability, because if you are going with older components for the sake of cost, you do sometimes run into situations where this is the best of that older generation, which means it keeps up, but you can't get anything better without changing things like motherboards and shit. Oh yeah, I had awful Wi-Fi. That was like the biggest limiting factor. I have better Wi-Fi, or better internet as a whole. I should probably like continue working on the project that I am focused on more. Charlie bit me. How many people remember that? I don't know what the fuck I'm doing right now. I'm just spouting shit out. Mostly to entertain myself. If I'm entertaining you in the process, then I'm doing something right. Suggestion: use pistons like a shock absorber. Start with level 1, and if you need more strength, go up. So basically have the body of the car, the piston pointed down and have the piston extend by 1 block. Now, if you have to route a pipe piece back up and down to get the clearances you want with the ground, that's an option too. Just attach the wheel to that. Because with a shock, or with that piston there, it acts much like a shock. If it gets hit hard, it'll compress. It won't compress under weight, like a spring will. But if it gets hit, it'll spring up real fast, but it'll lower back down slowly, which keeps you from doing like this on the car. It just goes doom. When you hit something, it just dunk and then goes back. Much more stable, and in some of the cars I've experimented with having a spring and piston, so you get this, like, it allows it to cross obstacles and rocks and stuff, but if you're driving at high speeds and you hit something, it'll hit that piston instead, which, like I said, does the shock absorbance thing. You said I should build a Jeep Gladiator 6x6. I said I might. I'm working on a similar style build already, and there's the possibility that I could change it over to being a Jeep Gladiator, or possibly even just making a Jeep Gladiator separately. He says, my stream's buffering. I'm not sure why the stream's buffering. Use it on your tanks. I'm guessing you're referring to the shock suspension, and actually I do use it on the tanks. It's part of the elevation system that I use for kneeling are made of pistons, so earlier versions did have piston and spring. I removed that for bugginess sake, so it's just piston, but it does the same function. Where do I work? Someone responded with home, which is partially correct. I do have a day job. I'm not going to specify where. Just know that I work in a kitchen right now. Without thrusters. Thrusters are your best bet, to be honest. Electric engines work, but they're going to be a pain in the ass. If you're going wheel-based, then you could, I guess, use controllers. Controllers have stupidly high torque, but I'm not really sure if that'd be better than electric engines. Yeah, when it comes to my location, the most I tell people is I live in the middle of bumfuck nowhere, Indiana. You know how big Indiana is? Good luck. So if you don't want to use thrusters for movement, you could also use thrusters for weight, basically just pointing thrusters upward to reduce the weight of the vehicle, making it easier to move on wheels. Bearings under high weight will freak the fuck out. Like, unfortunately, you can't fix that. I worked on a battleship that had wheels. I ended up having to put like 20 wheels into the damn thing, and it still was like freaking out because the bearings were having issues with that much weight. So, fortunately, there's not much I can really do to help you. Like I said, you can even simulate weight reduction with thrusters. And as much as I give shit to mods, you could also use like a blueprint edit tool to just replace metal with maintenance chip block. That's also an option. What am I doing? Good question. Give me a second. I've had to explain this twice, though. I want to finish what I'm doing before I stop and tell the story again. So, long story short, character, I've shown off the model for it in VR chat. I fell in love with it, and I wanted my own stuffed animal. So I made one. People found out that I made one, and they wanted one. Some people offered money. Lots of money. And so I talked with the original creator of the model, and he was interested in possibly doing something with it. No guarantees. And I said, fuck it, I want to make them, so I am. This is the pattern for the next one. So, version 1's over there. It's orange. Fuck it, I'll grab it. Keep pointing at it, I'll just grab it. This is the orange one. This is the first one. This is mine. One of his legs is deflated. This is V2. This was originally supposed to be the last one. This is supposed to be my finished versions. Well, this is the state where someone found out that I was making them and was asking for one. That's why this one's green, because I made it for someone who I haven't given it to yet. V3, this one. Fuck that one up. And this is V4, which I'm trying to fix and change things to make it better. So, essentially how this works is I'm making the 3D model out of paper. This, once it's made out of paper, will become patterns. Okay, so this is the pattern. This is the pattern for the old lower jaw. So if I actually... This is what this is. And it's the pattern that you use to cut out the cloth, and from there you can sew the cloth. This is V3T. What this one is. And the patterns are designed, as you can see, to have brown on the bottom, green on the top. In this case, it's green. In the actual model, it's blue and tan. But to have two different colors, so I have to design that into these, as well as every other fucking detail. Play League of Legends? No. Not even gonna try. I'm sorry. Can I just state, I've been here for an hour to cut this piece of paper and this piece of paper, and I'm not even done with this one. I gotta finish it and make a second one. Have a good night, Boston. Why you can't upgrade a laptop using external sources. Without external sources. So... desktops, laptops, and servers all work under the same basic principle. There are a bunch of Lego-like pieces that go in together in a certain order. Your motherboard, your processor, your cooling system, your all these different things. With a traditional PC, it's a box. It's a big open box. You can fit just about anything you want into that. Like, as long as it's a big enough box, you can fit any like water cooler, any whatever you want into it. It's not hard. Servers, mildly annoying, but hey, you can still put some graphics cards and stuff into it. Very select few because of the size limitations. The laptop, fuck that. You've got that much space. There's no like really upgrading you do. Some laptops you can get into and upgrade the RAM, and that's about it. Maybe upgrade the hard drive. That's about it. Past that, like, there's no room to put anything else in. Like, even the graphics cards that go into some laptops are specifically designed for that laptop to fit in the space required. That's the problem. Oh, see it. The person who said they have to go to bed, by the way, is who that comment was intended for. I was actually kind of concerned that having the mic this far away from me would be problematic, but apparently everyone can hear me. I'm not sure how it's affecting the quality of my audio, but at least you can understand what I'm saying. So that's a plus. No, I dropped you. Where did you go? Damn it. Okay. Buzz on it now. Damn it. Alright. I don't want to go about this. I've literally just got to attach a tube. Pretty much the entire body is a single tube. I could save myself quite a bit of headache if I make the legs a part of said tube. The stream's buffering. I can't tell if you can see me or not. I'm just going to wait for the stream to stop buffering before I continue to speak. Okay, so the stream it's back. I can see it. Is it? Thank you, YouTube, for being very helpful. The problem is if I put the legs as part of the tube, well, I'm going to run into an issue. As in the... How do I explain this? This is going to make it harder to cut. Because, yeah, there's more smaller components. It saved me a lot of fucking time sewing. I'm trying to think how I want to go about this. Because this is one of the really big things I want to fix. I don't like how these shoulders turned out. Like, this one's not half bad, but this one's fucking atrocious. It looks like he's wearing, like, pauldrons. Here. Like, it's really, like, these are really spiky for some reason. I want them to be flat and smooth. What the fuck I'm building? I've explained this 3 times now. I'm making stuffed animals. I'm just gonna explain it as that and leave it there because I don't feel like giving the whole background story. And where the fuck? There it is. Okay. Simply put, I'm making stuffed animals. I'm gonna go back to the model. I'm gonna go look at it real quick. I'm gonna laugh if I have invites on VR chat, just because I think it's been open, hasn't it? Yeah, it's been open in the background. Alright, I am back. For anyone wondering, the reason I'm going over there is because that's where my VR space is. I forgot my headphones. I'm back. So, as much as I don't want to do these, they're technically correct, like from the model's perspective. Because he actually has shoulders. So now, in the actual model, his neck is one size and his belly is a little bit bigger. Not sure if I really want to go through that length of detail. The problem here is with this one, the fucking neck is thicker than the body, which makes it look really disproportional. And with this one, it's a little bit better. I'd say they're about the same size. I really fucked up the stitching on this one. I really did. Like, that one's, for being hand sewn, isn't awful. This, for being machine sewn, is a fucking nightmare. Like, the actual seams themselves turned out great because it's a machine, but the connection points, oh Christ. Yes, I have a face. I don't show it very often. There's a few series I show it in. Oh yeah, my Discord icon is my face. I forgot about that. I forgot that's a thing. Play Kerbal Space Program. Probably not. Is KSP 2 out yet? I wonder. If that comes out, maybe. Hope to see you, Brandon. Play Stormworks. I've played Stormworks. Not the biggest fan of it. I don't like the build system, the building menu, the building system it uses. Also, I find its build, like, it's... Stormworks is very much a game in which you build survival and rescue stuff. Like, that's kind of what it's about. That's really all it's about. Like, yeah, I know some people built some, like, you can build planes, you can build vehicles, you can build trains, you can... But at the end of the day, the trains can only work on the tracks that are in game, which is like a fucking straight line. Planes. There's like one airport, and if you have a helicopter, I think there's two. So, okay. Yeah, I guess you can make a water plane. But that's the thing, like, everything has to be water-based. If you want a vehicle, yeah, you can build a vehicle, you can drive a vehicle. On these itty-bitty islands, you make it amphibious, though. Okay, that works. That's what I did. I built an amphibious vehicle. Okay, you want to make a plane? Well, you can only land at one, maybe two locations. Or you can make an amphibious plane. See what I'm saying? It very much focuses on... Not anymore. What do they do that makes it not anymore? I heard they were talking about adding weapons, but I've heard that's only just like a thought idea, like... honestly, I think my biggest setback is I'm really not a fan of their building system. It's like you have to be taken completely out of the game into the build menu, which is annoying. But then once you're actually building, I really don't like the controls. Like the whole like flying around. Like with Scrap Mechanic, I actually enjoy building in Scrap Mechanic. The thing that annoys me with it is it's kind of buggy at times. But with Stormworks, I don't even enjoy building in it. Like, I don't enjoy building in it, and when I do finish something, well, the game has an update and all the engines are broken, so yay! And they're like, oh yeah, you can use the legacy engines until we make an update that gets rid of the legacy engines. That was actually a thing. It was like, okay, you can have the complex engines or the simple engines. A lot of my old creations were simple engines. I'm like, okay, I'll learn how to do complex engines, but I still like to go back and look at the simple engines. Oh yeah, we got rid of simple engines. What? They're saying like hours of building gone? Yeah, you can go do it over again. I'm like, I don't want to fucking do it again. I don't like building. So I just stopped playing. Like I do not like playing in that. Building in that game. I do not want to rebuild the things I had done before. Especially when the things I had done before was ship, 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 ship. Ship that can drive on land. Ship, ship. Helicopter that can't fucking fly worth a damn. And most of that was because I didn't know how to make a helicopter. I really didn't care to learn. That's one of the things I think SM does well. It's like, oh, what do you build in SM? You can build, well, it's kind of hard to build ships without mods because the whole water not existing. But tanks, cars, trucks, rock crawlers, boat. Well, like I said, ships are difficult because you don't have water. You can't exactly build aerodynamically functional planes. You can build planes using thrusters. You can build helicopters using thrusters. You can build a spaceship. And like I said before, I think what Stormworks did wrong was they wanted to make a game where you built rescue and survival things in a realistic world, realistic environment where like it basically just kneecapped them in the sense that it's kind of hard to build other things more variety, or even you could say more just sci-fi things. Completely got fucking thrown out the window as a result. Like, oh, you want to build a spaceship? Good luck! Like, I hope you have an engineering degree in VTOL tactics. And fucking... Part of me wants to build a VTOL now. Actually, I've been considering building one in Scrap Mechanic for a while. Like, it has the complexity, and I love that concept of, like, opening up the hood of the car and there actually being an engine there. But when it comes to actually building that engine, it's not always the most fun. It's not exactly entertaining, in my opinion. I'm sorry. And while it can be fun to take a breather and, like, build the piston engine cars, which are quite literally that, a vehicle with an actual engine in it, it's still also nice to go, hey, I want to just build a very stupid, simple rock crawler and grab a gasoline engine. It seems a lot of people have either gotten bored of me taping paper or have gone to bed. There's only 4 people instead of 8. Considering this is just supposed to be me talking, I would think me working on this would be a mild improvement. How the fuck did I rip? This is.
I don't want to take this piece of paper back off just to do this like one simple cut and then have to tape it all back together. So I'm trying to do it while still taped, and I don't expect this to go well.
It went better than expected. I will have to clean that cut though at some point. This is just not working. I'm looking at the chat, damn it. Unless there's like, it's not updating the chat. Let me check, make sure it's updating the chat. Because that is a thing that happens sometimes. Chat just stops working. Oh no, I'm up to date. Okay. For a moment. The sick building games. Is he making a rocket? No. I'm making it the wagon. Well, one of these guys. It's one of these. It's the next iteration of this.
I think it's time to make the second one of this. I'm not playing Roblox, Charlie. What, for this tutorial? No. It's just making up as I go, pretty much. So, long story short, my mother used to make custom, like, clothes and shit. Something she had an interest in, she would, like, sell them at markets and fairs and stuff like that. I used to help her growing up. So, as a result, I learned a thing or two about sewing. This is based off of a character model from VRChat. It's kind of the default model I always use. It's a hand puppet, and it's really fun to use. People love interacting with it, and it's just a blast. Well, I decided one day I wanted one. I wanted one in real life. So, I made one. Or I started making one. Some of my friends in VRChat found out, and they wanted one. Hence why this one's green. This one's for a friend of mine. I told them they could have it when I was done with it, which is whenever I get... This is kind of like the idea of what I want it to look like, just... That's not the... I wanted to make it better than that. Originally I was going to make two, one of which was... Did you fall off my... Oh. Oh, he's over there. I was wondering what I did with the orange one. So this is the original. The plan was to make this one as just to make sure, like, I remember what I was fucking doing. It's been ages since I've done anything sewing-wise. And then I was going to make the second one, which was mine. People asked for them, so I was like, okay, I can make one or two for some of my friends. Then more people started asking for them. People I didn't know, and some of which were offering decent amounts of money. So... took the concept to the actual creator, the actual artist who made the original model. He showed an interest in it, and while this is not a product and it may never be a product, I am pursuing it to see, like, what I can make of it. So, wait, you're sewing with paper to make a model to map on the fabric. So basically, I'm making essentially a 3D model using paper, so that way I know how things are going to lie. I turn this into patterns, which I have some over there for that one, which are just basically paper cutouts that you take from paper to cloth, and that's just how things are done. And those have special additions and markings that make them so you can sew them. So from the pattern, you go from paper to cloth, and then you sew that together to make one of these. This one and that one are both hand-stitched, which was hours and hours, and it doesn't look the best, but hey, it worked. And that one over there, which is back here, is machine-stitched. I look tired. No, not really. So, like, yes, it's midnight. I'm nocturnal. Fun fact, Al Magma is nocturnal. I rarely see the light of day. And you think I'm joking, but I'm fucking not. So even though it is midnight, it is what is essentially for me midday. Do I get into scrap mechanic? Because I like making things. Yeah, pretty much. Also because at the time that the channel started, scrap mechanic was like one of the few games I had to play. So I pretty much based most of my early content on it, and as a result, it kind of stuck with the channel. Yeah, my midday is more of a metaphorical midday. Okay, there's the other one. So technically I only need one of these. I'm making both of them because I want to basically what I did with some of these, and even though they turned out well, is I basically made half of the dragon and just mirrored it essentially with paper. But with this I want to make it pretty much as entirely as I can. Maybe the paws, I might only make one version or two versions. But for that, for the most part, it's just I don't need to make multiple. But this one, I just want to make sure that everything fits properly like it should. And therefore, I want to make both of them. How do I make them? Well, this is the process. How long have you been in the chat for? So I've kind of talked through it a few times. Essentially, the character design is not mine. I'm basing this off of a pre-existing 3D model. I've kind of explained that already. So simply put, I'm pretty much looking at the 3D model, translating it into this model, which is a paper model. It's just easier this way because paper translates to cloth really well. So this is the standard model. This is to make it look like it should. These pieces, all these little individual pieces of paper that I've cut out, will then go to another piece of paper in which they're made into patterns. Patterns translate this model, this paper, into what can be made and cut on fabric. Because there's some things that don't work between paper and fabric. They're good medium, they're good to transfer from paper to fabric, but there's some things you have to take into account. That's where the pattern comes in, which is like here's some of the old patterns for this version, not the one for this one.
So this is a really shit one, by the way. I'm gonna say that.
Damn.
So how this, you'll see on the top, you see the arches there. This is the pattern for that on the old one, on this one. So this goes here. And this one is actually the pattern for the side of the face and the ear. So this goes around like that. So I make these to get the shape. That shape then gets torn apart and then turned into these, which are patterns. These patterns are then cut into fabric, which I have some lying behind me, which then are sewn together either by hand or by machine, which I have one thing over that way, which then of course gets you one of these. And well, you put stuff in there. Yeah, nah, I'm not going to MIT. Fuck that. I don't have a good relationship with traditional schooling. So what I'm making is kind of a safety net just in case something is off. No, not really. So I think you're referring to, you notice that the patterns had a gap to the edge. In some cases, kind of. The problem with fabric is it's literally just woven together tiny strings. Like, if you actually look at fabric, it's literally just a bunch of strings together. When you stitch, you're just putting your needle through those gaps in between those two, essentially. So, of course, you're going in and out with your sewing or your machine, and it's locking them together and locking in separate pieces together. Well, the problem is if you stitch too close to the edge where these are together, these can start to pull out. And then at that point, when that falls apart, where you've done your seam, that falls apart. And then you end up with... Actually, I have... This one has a good example of it, because I really fucked this one up. You have that. Do you see where that stitch is pulled out? And there's just a gap right here. You have that basically happen. So there's some bit of like safety net there, but it's also just to ensure the sturdiness of what you're building. There's other uses you can do with it. It's just kind of something that's necessary. And something that's taken into account is paper is very rigid. Cloth stretches and bends really easily. Like you can't do that with paper. So there's differences between the two mediums, but they translate rather well to each other. Kind of like this thing was once made completely out of paper. There was a version, I don't know if I still have it lying around, of this made out of paper. And this is by no means a tutorial or instructional video. This is just simply how I am doing it. I am not a master... What would the term be? Someone who sews. I know there's seamstress. Would it be, tailor? But tailor's for clothing. This is not... I'm not sure. I'm not sure what the term for what I'm doing is. Stuffy maker. No. I guess it could be considered a toy, so like a toy maker or something. Something along those lines, maybe, but I wouldn't exactly call this a toy.
It's not meant to be played with. It's meant to be the physical representation of a digital object.
If that makes sense. Hence why it is the size it is. That's supposed to be like the rough size that it is in game. So, actually, like a physical representation of the digital object. I have been sitting here cutting 3 pieces of paper and taping them together for the grand total of 1 hour and 50 minutes. Icon lope. Clothifier. What am I building? One of these. I'm building the framework for the next version. So. Oh, there he is. 1, 2, 3, and then I'm working on 4.
They are little stuffed animals based off of a digital 3D model. I am essentially trying to make a digital 3D model into a paper, digital on the computer model into a paper 3D model, because paper is a really good medium for cloth. That, once I'm done with this, I can then make patterns, which I've shown them off multiple times. I'm not getting up again to grab one. I should probably just leave one over here. Actually, do I have some in here? I think I have some of my old ones. Yeah. Patterns. Which I can then cut into fabric and then sew together. And like I said before, the model that I'm using is not mine. And the origins of me making this is mildly complicated. It's meant for plushies. The model, it's like the digital model is in game. I think I've explained that. This is being made for plushies. Basically, I wanted a physical representation of the digital model because I love this thing. It's really fun to use, it's really fun to play with. Um, well, I wanted it, and so did a lot more people. And that's kind of how this whole project got started. The original artist of the model is aware of the project and is supportive of the project, so I'm just kind of having fun with it. Have I ever eaten MRE? No, I've not. Oh, see ya, Micah. MRE stands for meal ready to eat. Not new stands for. Yeah, basically military rations. They're mostly used for military rations and emergency supplies. So, like, if you're stranded on it, like stranded or something, there's usually supposed to be some sort of food stuffs set aside, and oftentimes those are meals ready to eat because they're meant to be basically the perfect portion size, I guess you would say. Basically, the necessary nutrients. Pre-packaged and ready to just like heat up and eat. Hence why they're called meals ready to eat. So what I do is like usually they have some sort of cook fuel or way to cook them or prepare them. Why am I trying to explain this? It's pretty much just a fucking microwave meal for the military. Yeah, imagine a microwave meal that lasts hundreds of years. I wouldn't call them Lunchables because they're like full-blown meals. They're not a snack. Lunchables are a snack. So there's the head of this guy attached to a tube, which will then later become the entire body. So you can see like how the paper becomes like the cloth pattern eventually. Now I do need to do some more work here because I cannot fuck that up. I gotta make a new one. Actually, fuck it. I'm gonna do the tape it technique. I'm gonna just tape it together and I can use that as a pattern later. Alright, let's just... Oh, that actually fucking worked. Like... dropped it. Oop. No, I'm not drunk. Okay, good night. I was drunk last night, not tonight.
How old am I? I'm 21. This is not working out. This is being a pain in the ass. Yeah, I'm 21. Oh. Okay, I know what I'm looking. I was like, why the fuck is it not round through the inside? And I realized it's because I'm an idiot, because I've been paying attention to what I was looking at. It's because this lap is over the... That's why. Big fan of how it turned out. Yeah, I think part of it has to do with the fact that both sides are. Alright, I'm gonna try it again. Just see if I can make it look nicer. And it's not quite origami, especially not in the way you're thinking. Hope see you, Charlie.
Oh, I'm not too sure how much longer I'm going to be here. I know there's a lot more work for this, but I don't know if I want to sit here for another couple hours doing so. So, I might be here when you come back, not quite sure. Actually, this is not looking half bad. I'm gonna go with it. I'm just gonna go with it. How am I doing? I'm doing alright. Hello, somebody. Really? Did I like get on Discord last night without realizing it? I got fucked up last night.
That was almost a damn near perfect fit. Okay. I actually need to clean up the back of the body here. Receive this piece. Hello. But it's coming along quite well. You can see size is correct. Just gotta put legs on him. Right now he's just a noodle. However, I think I'm going to go ahead and end this stream here because I've been streaming for 2.5 hours and I've cut, how many pieces? Cut and taped. 1, 2, 3, 5 pieces of paper. One of which is a tube and the other one's a cone. So that being said, I'm not sure how productive this stream was. Anyway, I'm going to actually go ahead and end it here. If you guys did enjoy, please leave a like. Any suggestions, leave them in the comments down below. If you enjoy the channel, enjoy what I'm doing, please subscribe. It helps out a lot. And right now, shares the channel most. So if you're new on the channel, please share this episode with a friend. I want to thank Captain Bob and Black Kitten for being members over on the channel and supporting me in that way. Black Kitten did stop by for this stream, so hello there. But I'm going to go ahead and end it here. Thanks for stopping by. Thanks for sticking around. And until next time, peace.